everybody. It has been a long week. Do you hear me too? Oh, what's up, everybody? It is Halloween. Spooky. Hopefully, those of you going to Halloween parties, go and be safe and have fun. And if you're a recovering alcoholic, don't drink. I'll wait for a couple minutes. Oh, man. Definitely been a week. My glasses are dirty. Let me grab one of my glasses cleaner packets. I'm cleaning them off so I can see what I'm doing. Hello, Tony. Happy Halloween tomorrow. I got your message. So if anybody wants to come up on panel, I put that in the chat. So you can come up if you would like to. You don't have to. So seeing as it is Halloween tomorrow, I used to go and try to find Halloween parties to go to. Of course, when I was a lot younger, like my early 20s, late teens, me and my cousins, last time I remember dressing anybody up for Halloween was my cousin. I dressed him up as a girl. It was hilarious. He fit perfectly in my dress, and yeah, he rocked it that night. But I talked to him today, so we were going over some of our teen years and hanging out all the time and roaming the neighborhoods. In other words, in the woods. Because that's where we did our crazy party times, was in the woods. But anyway, enough of the party ideas. If you're going to a party, please stay sober. And if you are a responsible drinker, which we are not here, responsible, just please don't drink and drive, whatever you do, ever. Please. Anyways, I'm Sandra and I'm an alcoholic. Please do not pass judgment in the comments or in the chat. And just because somebody is here does not make them the alcoholic. They could be here supporting my channel, a friend or family member of mine, or a supporter, and they could be here learning how to, approach a family or a friend about their alcohol consumption and whatever. So just so you know, this is not just alcoholics in the chat. It's everybody. Just be mindful of that. Anyways. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. I always put in the description what book we're reading and the page we are on in the story, in the chapter, what have you. Lately, I've been doing all of those, putting all of that in there. So, it is in the more area of the video. So, just so you know that it is there. Anyways, 1, we admitted we were powerless over alcohol, that our lives had become unmanageable. 2, came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. 3, made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood Him. 4, made a fearless and search. I said it backwards. 4, made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. That's why I refer to the book if I get my words backwards. 5, admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. 6, we're entirely ready to have God remove all these defective characters. 7, humbly asked Him to remove our shortcomings. 8, made a list of all persons we had harmed and become willing to make amends to them all. 9, made direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. 10, continue to take personal inventory and when wrong, promptly admit it. 11, sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood Him, praying only for knowledge of His will for us and the power to carry that out. And 12, having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we tried to carry this message to alcoholics and to practice these principles in all our affairs. And so we are in the big book. I am reading a 4th edition, so I know that if you're not reading the same book as me, then it's probably on a different page. That's why I always put what we're reading in there in the description, so that way if you get confused, you know where to go. So we're on chapter 7, working with others, on page 89. Practical experience shows that nothing will so much ensure immunity from drinking as intensive work with other alcoholics. It works when other activities fail. This is our 12th suggestion. Carry this message to other alcoholics. You can help when no one else can. You can secure their confidence with others, or when others fail. Remember, they are very ill. Life will take on new meaning. To watch people recover, to see them help others, to watch loneliness vanish, to see a fellowship grow up about you, to have a host of friends. This is an experience you must not miss. We know you will not want to miss it. Frequent contact with newcomers and with each other is the bright spot of our lives. Perhaps you are not acquainted with any drinkers who want to recover. You can easily find some by asking a few doctors, ministers, priests, or hospitals. They will be only too glad to assist you. Don't start out as an evangelist or reformer. Unfortunately, a lot of prejudice exists. You will be handicapped if you arouse it. Ministers and doctors are competent and you can learn much from them if you wish. But it happens that because of your own drinking experience, you can be uniquely useful to other alcoholics. So cooperate, never criticize. To be helpful is our only aim. When you discover a prospect for Alcoholics Anonymous, find out all you can about him or her. If he or she does not want to stop drinking, don't waste time trying to persuade him. You may spoil a later opportunity. This advice is given for his family also. They should be patient, realizing they are dealing with a sick person. If there's any indication that he wants to stop, have a good talk with the person most interested in him, usually his wife. Get an idea of his behavior, his problems, and his background, the seriousness of his condition, and his religious learnings. You need this information to put yourself in his place to see how you would like him to approach you if the tables were turned. Sometimes it is wise to wait till he goes on a binge. The family may object to this, but unless he is in a dangerous physical condition, it is better to risk it. Don't deal with him when he is very drunk, unless he is ugly and the family needs your help. Wait for the end of the spree, or at least for a lucid interval. Then let his family or a friend ask him if he wants to quit for good and if he would go to any extreme to do so. If he says yes, then his attention should be drawn to you as a person who has recovered. You should be described to him as one of the fellowship who, as part of their own recovery, try to help others and who will be glad to talk to him if he cares to see you. If he does not want to see you, never force yourself upon him. Neither should the family hysterically plead with him to do anything, nor should they tell him much about you. They should wait for the end of his next drinking bout. You might place this book where he can see it in the interval. Here, no specific rule can be given. The family must decide these things, but urge them not to be over anxious, for that might spoil matters. Usually, the family should not try to tell your story. When possible, avoid meeting a man through his family. Approach through a doctor or an institution is a better bet. If your man needs hospitalization, he should have it, but not forcibly unless he is violent. Let the doctor, if he will, tell him he has something in the way of a solution. When your man is better, the doctor might suggest a visit from you. Though you have talked with the family, leave them out of the first discussion. Under these conditions, your prospect will see he is under no pressure. He will feel he can deal with you without being nagged by his family. Call on him while he is still jittery. He may be more receptive when depressed. See your man alone if possible. At first, engage in general conversation. After a while, turn the talk to some phase of drinking. Tell him enough about your drinking habits, symptoms, and experiences to encourage him to speak of himself. If he wishes to talk, let him do so. You will thus get a better idea of how you ought to proceed. If he is not communicative, give him a sketch of your drinking career up to the time you quit, but say nothing for the moment of how that you accomplished. If he is in a serious mood, dwell on the troubles liquor has caused you, being careful not to moralize or lecture. If his mood is light, tell him humorous stories of your escapades. Get him to tell some of his. When he sees you know all about the drinking game, commence to describe yourself as an alcoholic. Tell him how baffled you were, how you finally learned that you were sick. Give him an account of the struggles you made to stop. Show him the mental twists which leads to the first drink of a spree. We suggest you do this as we have done it in the chapter of alcoholism. If he is alcoholic, he will understand you at once. He will match your mental inconsistencies with some of his own. If you are satisfied that he is a real alcoholic, begin to dwell on the hopeless feature of the malady. Show him from your own experience how the queer mental condition surrounding the first drink prevents normal functioning of the willpower. Don't at this stage refer to this book unless he has seen it and wishes to refer to this book or wishes to discuss it. And be careful not to brand him as an alcoholic. Let him draw his own conclusion. If he sticks to the idea that he can still control his drinking, tell him that possibly he can. If he is not too alcoholic, but insists that if he is severely afflicted, there may be little chance he can recover by himself. Continue to speak of alcoholism as an illness, a fatal malady. Talk about the condition of body and mind which accompany it. Keep his attention focused mainly on your personal experience. Explain that many are doomed who never realize their predicament. Doctors are rightly loath to tell alcoholic patients the whole story unless it will serve some good purpose. But you may talk to him about the hopelessness of alcoholism because you offer a solution. Hello, Desert Adventures in Arizona. If his own doctor is willing to tell him that he is an alcoholic, so much the better. Even though your protege may not have entirely admitted his condition, he has become very curious to know how you got well. Let him ask you that question, if he will. Tell him exactly what happened to you. Stress the spiritual feature freely. If the man be agnostic or atheist, make it empathetic. Empathetic that he does not have to agree with your conception of God. He can choose any conception he likes, provided it makes sense to him. The main thing that he be willing to believe is a power greater than himself, and that he live by spiritual principles. When dealing with such a person, you had better use everyday language to describe spiritual principles. There is no arousing any prejudice he may have against certain theological terms and conceptions about which he may already be confused. Don't raise such issues, no matter what your own convictions are. Your prospect may belong to a religious denomination. His religious education and training may be far superior to yours. In that case, he is going to wonder how you can add anything to what he already knows. But he will be curious to learn why his own convictions have not worked and why yours seem to work so well. He may be an example of the truth that faith alone is insufficient. To be vital, faith must be accompanied by self-sacrifice and unselfish constructive action. Let him see that you are not there to instruct him in religion. Admit that he probably knows more about it than you do, but call to his attention the fact that however deep his faith and knowledge, he could not have applied it or he would not drink. Perhaps your story will help him see where he has failed to practice the very prospect he knows so well. We represent no particular faith or denomination. We are dealing only with general principles common to most denominations. Outlining the program of action, explaining how you made a self-appraisal, how you straightened out your past, and why you are now endeavoring to be helpful to him. It is important for him to realize that your attempt to pass this on to him plays a vital part in your own recovery. Actually, he may be helping you more than you are helping him. Make it plain he is under no obligation to you, that you hope only that he will try to help other alcoholics when he escapes his own difficulties. Suggest how important it is that he place the welfare of other people ahead of his own. Make it clear that he is not under pressure, that he needn't see you again if he doesn't want to. You should not be offended if he wants to call it off, for he has helped you more than you have helped him. If your talk has been sane, quiet, and full of human understanding, you have perhaps made a friend. Maybe you have disturbed him about the question of alcoholism. This is all to the good. The more more hopeless he feels, the better. He will be more likely to follow your suggestions. Your candidate may give reason why he need not follow all of the program. He may rebel at the thought of a drastic house cleaning, which requires discussion with other people. Do not contradict such views. Tell him you once felt as he does, but you doubt whether you would have made much progress had you not taken action. On your first visit, tell him about the Fellowship of Alcoholics Anonymous. If he shows interest, lend him your copy of this book. Unless your friend wants to talk further about himself, do not wear out your welcome. Give him a chance to think it over. If you stay, let him steer the conversation in any direction he likes. Sometimes the new man is anxious to proceed at once, and you may be tempted to let him do so. This is sometimes a mistake. If he has trouble later, he is likely to say you rushed him. You will be most successful with alcoholics if you do not exhibit any passion for crusade or reform. Never talk down to an alcoholic from any from any moral or spiritual hilltop. Simply lay out the kit of spiritual tools for him or for his inspection. Show him how they work for you. Offer him friendship and fellowship. Tell him if he wants to get well, you will do anything to help. If he is not interested in your solution, if he expects you to act only as a banker for his financial difficulties or a nurse for his sprees, you may have to drop him until he changes his mind. This he may do after he gets hurt some more. If he is sincerely interested and wants to see you again, ask him to read this book in the interval. After doing that, he must decide for himself whether he wants to go on. He should not be pushed or prodded by you, his wife, or his friends. If he is to find God, the desire must come from within. If he thinks he can do the job in some other way or prefer some other spiritual approach, encourage him to follow his own conscience. We have no monopoly on God. We merely have an approach that worked with us, but point out that we alcoholics have much in common and that you would like, in any case, to be friendly. Let it go at that. Don't be discouraged if your prospect does not respond at once. Search out other alcoholics and try again. You are sure to find someone desperate enough to accept with eagerness what you offer. We find it a waste of time to keep chasing a man who cannot or will not work with you. If you leave such a person alone, he may soon become convinced that he cannot recover by himself. To spend too much time on any one situation is to deny some other alcoholic an opportunity to live and be happy. One of our fellowship failed entirely with his first half dozen prospects. He often says that if he had continued to work on them, he might have deprived many others who have since recovered of their chance. Let's see how long. These ones in this book are really long, so I don't know if I'm going to read the whole thing. Hello, Shirley. Suppose now you are making your second visit to a man. He has read this volume and says he is prepared to go through with the 12 steps of the program of recovery. Having had the experience yourself, you can give him much practical advice. Let him know you are available if he wishes to make a decision and tell his story, but do not insist upon it if he prefers to consult someone else. He may be broke and homeless. If he is, you might try to help him about getting a job or give him a little financial assistance. But you should not deprive your family or creditors of money they should have. Perhaps you will want to take the man into your home for a few days, but be sure you use discretion. Be certain he will be welcomed by your family and that he is not trying to impose upon you for money, connections, or shelter. Permit that and you only harm him. You will be making it possible for him to be insecure. You may be aiding in his destruction rather than his recovery. Never avoid these responsibilities, but be sure you are doing the right thing if you assume them. Helping others is the foundation stone of your recovery. A kindly act once in a while isn't enough. You have to act the Good Samaritan every day, if need be. It may mean the loss of many nights' sleep, great interference with your pleasure, interruptions in your business. It may mean sharing your money and your home, counseling frantic wives and relatives, innumerable trips to police, courts, sanitariums, hospitals, jails, and asylums. Your telephone may jingle at any time of the day or night. Your wife may sometimes say she is neglected. A drunk may smash the furniture in your home or burn a mattress. You may have to fight with him if he is violent. Sometimes you will have to call a doctor and administer sedatives under his direction. Another time you may have to send for the police or an ambulance. Occasionally you will have to meet such conditions. We seldom allow an alcoholic to live in our homes for a long at a time. It is not good for him, and it sometimes creates serious complications in a family. Though an alcoholic does not respond, there is no reason why you should neglect his family. You should continue to be friendly to them. The family should be offered your way of life. Should they accept and practice spiritual principles, there is much better chance that the head of the family will recover. And even though he continues to drink, the family will find life more bearable. For the type of alcoholic who is able and willing to get well, little charity in the ordinary sense of the word is needed or wanted. The men who cry for money and shelter before conquering alcohol are on the wrong track. Yet we do go to great extremes to provide each other with these very things. When such action is warranted, this may seem inconsistent, but we think it is not. If it is not the matter of giving that is in question, but when and how to give, that often makes the difference between failure and success. The minute we put our work on the service plane, the alcoholic commences to rely upon our assistance rather than upon God. He clamors for this or that, claiming he cannot master alcohol until his material needs are cared for. Nonsense. Some of us have taken very hard knocks to learn the truth. Job or no job, wife or no wife. We simply do not stop drinking so long as we place dependence upon other people ahead of dependence on God. What time is it? Yeah, I've already been live for. Burn the idea into the consciousness of every man that he can get well regardless of anyone. The only condition is that he trusts in God and clean house. Now the domestic problem. There may be divorce, separation, or just strained relations. When your prospect has made such preparation as he can to his family and has thoroughly explained to them the new principles by which he is living, he should proceed to put those principles into action at home. That is, if he is lucky enough to have a home. Though his family be at fault in many respects, he should not be concerned about that. He should concentrate on his own spiritual demonstration. Argument and fault finding are to be avoided like the plague. In many homes, this is a difficult thing to do, but it must be done if any results are to be expected. If persisted in for a few months, the effect on a man's family is sure to be great. The most incapable people discover they have a basis upon which they can meet. Little by little, the family may see their own defects and admit them. These can then be discussed in an atmosphere of helpfulness and friendliness. I think I'm going to stop there for today. We'll finish this one up on Tuesday. So For me, when I got to that, I had quit drinking before I found AA, and being sober and having the program that I'm sharing here, because that's what obviously you all just heard, that's what it tells us we need to do, is share our journey with others and share how the program has helped without giving them too much of an impact all at once on what we had to do. We don't want them to feel like it's over what they can achieve, because when they first get sober, like me, I didn't know that I would even make it to step 2 or 3 or the rest of them. So doing the steps and knowing how to be a sponsor, I'm not the best sponsor, I'll admit that, but I am a sponsor. I do have people that rely on me to be sober and be there to be able to listen and not judge and give advice on things that I have done to get me through on those hard days, because there are many hard days. But I do this the exact way that this just said, is when I started being okay with being a sponsor, I had been sober for like 2 years. And then I was all right with myself becoming a sponsor. But I wanted to know that I could actually work my program and live a sober life for a while before I added to it. And the first person that I helped, I don't talk to them anymore, but I helped that person get on his feet. And where he's at now, I don't know, but I can only hope that he's still on that journey. And he might be, might not be. But I gave him what I could. And me being a sponsor, I have given my books to people because I can get a new book. And if I give a book away, which I have every time I've gotten a new sponsor, except for the newest one, and she's my best friend, one of my best friends. So I have given away a couple of big books. I've given away a couple of the set books. And yes, I've given them to family members as well. And it is there. If they decide that they want to read it, they'll read it. If they don't want to read it, they won't. And with me giving it to them and just leaving it, that's me saying, I see you and I know you're struggling with this. And, maybe this will help. Without me saying a word. Because that's the last thing I want to do, is judge them for drinking and being that alcoholic, because that's not my place to judge them. I'm a recovering alcoholic. I am one of them. Just because I don't drink doesn't mean that I'm not an alcoholic, because being an alcoholic never goes away. It is a life disease, and my sponsor calls it an allergy, and that is what it is. It's an allergy. It's whatever you want to call it. It is that, and It's not good. It's never good. For me, I am better living my life sober and helping others. Just a minute. Anyways, I share my journey here and anywhere because I am a recovering alcoholic and I got this gift for free, and it's up to me to help the next one and be there for the next one if they need the help and they want the help. It's just without this program right here and without having a sponsor or the 2 sponsors I've had, I wouldn't be sitting here sober right now. I can guarantee you that, because that's what we alcoholics do. And that is the plan for the next time. And I don't want to have that next time back here waiting to happen. And I always remember that I am an alcoholic and I can't just drink one, because it's not like that at all. You drink that one and you're back down at the bottom of the bottle and you don't stop. I already did that once and I don't want to do it again. And just living life how it's supposed to be lived, and it's on my higher power's terms. It's not on my own terms. I can only do what I can do, control me and my actions and the things that I do in my daily life of being sober and holding myself accountable for my journey. And I think one of the biggest things for me, well, there's 2 big things for me that I have come outspoken. The things that have got me to have my voice out there is, number 1, my sponsor. She's in the chat and she knows I'm going to always say this. I'm never going to let it go. She signed me up for my first speaker meeting. I was a speaker. I did not know until going to this meeting. But she also knows that if I hadn't been put on the spot, I wouldn't have done it. If she would have told me before this meeting, I wouldn't have gone. I would have stayed home. And she knows me that well. And I did my first speaker meeting, I think, within the first 6 months of being part of AA. I also had a coworker who was a recovering alcoholic, and I had never met her before. But when I met her, and just the same with my boss at that time, I told them all in the work meeting, our first meeting, because we did a group of all of us hosts and the boss and the maintenance crew, we all had a meeting at the office, and I was open and honest and said I'm a recovering alcoholic, and the bosses said if you have a problem picking up any liquor bottles or beer cans or whatever, just leave it, somebody else will get it. And that made my day. And so with Judy, she was another of my best friends, and she was old enough to be my grandmother. And the holidays are coming, and she passed before Christmas a few years ago. But she always told me, use your voice. Always use your voice. And so I started learning that I really needed to use my voice and share the message of Alcoholics Anonymous. And one of my cousins I talk to somewhat often brought up NA, and I was like, yeah, we have basically the same set of rules, you know. The alcoholic and the addict are basically the same. I mean, they both affect you in ways, and we do the same steps, and you know, like I always say, you have to want it and want it for the right reason, and the right reason is for yourself. And I have a family member, well, two family members that I've helped become sober, and my sister thanks me all the time. And the other one, she didn't believe that there was a God, and she started going to a church of her own spiritual journey. She chose where she goes, and she, you know, for her, she's not that type of person to believe in any such one thing. And that's why she was willing to take those steps and make it better for herself. And she's had to start over once, but that was on her own wanting to. No, she didn't go and drink, but she started over. And not on the narcotics either, so don't worry about that. But she started herself over, and I'm glad that those who have gone out come back. It takes a lot of courage to admit your defeat, you know, and I think that's really, really hard for somebody. And sometimes they don't make it back again, and that's sad. And those are reasons why I keep sharing the AA message to everybody. And I have said it at work. I'm a recovering alcoholic, and I'm not scared to tell people that anymore, because that's who I am, and that's what I am going to be for the rest of my life. And I just have AA in the rooms and the people in the meetings and my friends and family members who have helped me to be sober and become who I am today, and willing to share my story and the daily things that I do to get me through those days where I don't feel I can go on, and those days that I'm overjoyed. I need to be bringing myself back to being humble, you know, one day at a time. Don't jump in front of yourself. But, yeah. Sobriety is number one. Yep. Anyway, I'm going to read the daily reflection and let you guys have your night. Live and let live. Never since I began has Alcoholics Anonymous been divided by a major controversial issue, nor has our fellowship ever publicly taken sides of any question in an embattled world. This, however, has been no earned virtue. It could almost be said that we were born with it. So long as we don't argue these matters privately, it's a cinch we never shall publicly. 12 Steps, 12 Traditions, page 178. Do I remember that I have a right to my opinion, but that others don't have to share it? That's the spirit of live and let live. The Serenity Prayer reminds me, with God's help, to accept the things I cannot change. I still trying to change others? When it comes to courage to change the things I can, do I remember that my opinions are mine and yours are yours? Am I still afraid to be me? When it comes to wisdom to know the difference, do I remember that my opinions come from my experience? If I have a know-it-all attitude, aren't I being deliberately controversial? And with that, I love you guys. And thank you for being here with me for another AA meeting. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Keep coming back. It works if you work it. Love you guys. Remember, if you need help, there's help out there. Please look up AA meetings. Go to your local doctor's office, hospital. There's help everywhere, literally everywhere. And you're not alone in this fight. There's a lot of us that struggle with alcoholics. And I just hope you know that you are worth it. And sobriety is worth every single day, no matter if it's good or bad. But I love you guys. Have a great night. Thank you for being here.